Hello, hello, and thank you for chiming in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cooking Coach James, and I'm so excited that you've scheduled your live virtual interactive cooking show experience. It will be an evening full of food, fun, and festivities. We're going to make it entertaining, we will make it educational, and we'll definitely make it engaging. You're going to see how you can save some time, save some money, and improve your health. Speaking of health, ladies and gentlemen, you probably know that we need to eat better foods, cook better, less oils and fat, more plant-based, nutrient-dense foods. Now more than ever, we need to be conscious of the quality food and the way we prepare our foods. And so what that leads me to, ladies and gentlemen, is just a little bit of a sneak preview of what you can anticipate. See, we want to prepare our food properly and we want to use the right tools. Now there's advantages and disadvantages of all different types of cooking equipment out there. And stainless steel, non-stick, cast iron, aluminum, enamel coated. So there's pros and cons. So let's talk about stainless steel for a moment. There's about 4 or 5 different basic stainless steels that you can expect to see on the market. Your regular type of pots and pans, slab bottom, 1810 stainless steel. Most stuff sticks to it. Sometimes you got to sit there and stir. For burns, it's going to be harder to clean. Sometimes you get the wobbly handles. You might go to a higher end store, get the copper stuff, which is super heavy. They've got the rivets in there, which is kind of cool. But the challenge with these is they're really hard to maintain. They can turn color, go green or blue, and you got to be constantly polishing them up. Great cookware, but not necessarily user-friendly. We've got these waterless style cookwares. You may have seen them before, and they can be quite expensive. Again, heavy on the bottom, thin on the side. Handles, when you're cooking, they can get hot. See, this is actually a cutout of a regular type of pan. Nice even heat on the bottom, doesn't heat on the sides. And so, you know, and you got these stainless steel handles, which is great for popping in the oven, but they do get hot. And so advantages, disadvantages, most stainless steel is a lower grade, can react with your food, especially the salts and the acids and the enzymes as it's being heated, and it can affect the flavor and the purity of your food. Non-stick, a lot of people ask me, is there like a good, better, best for the non-stick? Here's the bottom line. All your non-stick are made of aluminum and have some sort of polymer coating. So back in the beginning days, you know, black was the thing. And then people were concerned about off-gassing. If you've got an old non-stick pan, don't need to call any names, but you buy them brand new and they're black and then slowly they go brown or grayish. Of course, we know that they're gonna chip, but you have to ask yourself, why do they change color? Could it be the polymers are breaking down as you're heating them? Basically, high-tech man-made plastic. We've got different ones. We start changing the colors. If we think it's green, it's healthier. Not necessarily. Still chipped, still made of aluminum. They're saying this is diamond hard coating. I don't know if there's diamonds in there, especially when they sell it for $9.95. Okay? We've got granite. That's got to be a harder coating, right? It's made of granite. Well, if you ever cook on granite, it's going to stick. This happens to be just a ceramic non-stick pan. Still chipped, still aluminum. We call that disposable cookware. And so we really recommend to stay away from any of these coated pans. We call them a planned obsolescence, and who wants to be eating that extra stuff, right? So let's go to cleanliness, because the flavor of food is directly related to the quality of the cooking surface. You may have gone to a friend's before. You tasted a recipe. That was delicious, right? You take the exact same thing at home, but it never tastes the same. Maybe they had a different pan than you, and maybe there's flavors coming out of the pan. Maybe there is metals or other sort of things liberated from the pot going into the food. Going to do a little bit of a scrub test just to kind of illustrate this in a visual manner. I've got some water. I'm going to pour it in. We've got a nice aluminum pan. For those of you that eat out in restaurants, commercial cookware is aluminum. We've got another one of these non-stick. This happens to be hardened anodized non-stick. We've got this high-grade surgical stainless steel right here. And everybody needs a really good quality surgical stainless steel pan. And then we've got our cast iron. Now this is just a little bitty cast iron pan, okay? Sometimes people will use that for cooking things up, but let's just start here. because I'm going to scrub this pan here. And now you might just be using a metal utensil and stirring it up. I'm going to press hard just to make sure it's really clean. Okay, so we give it a good scrub. We pour the water here, comes out beautifully, non-drip lip. Okay, and okay, looks pretty clear to me. Now, the aluminum pan, now, you know, you're probably aware that aluminum is very soft, very malleable, very reactive. And if you have an old pressure cooker or rice cooker, or maybe a non-stick pan that's chipped, maybe it's not chipped, but as it's heated on a higher heat, the aluminum can bleed through a little bit at a time. But you know, maybe you got a pasta sauce sitting in there for several hours, you know, and that acidity there is reacting. We definitely don't want to store food in an aluminum pan because we know it's extremely reactive. So let's just kind of give this a little pour back in the glass and notice the color difference. Can you see the difference? Okay. Now let's try with this non-stick one right here. Now some of you might be saying, hey, wait a minute. You know, you're not supposed to be, you know, scrubbing a non-stick pan, or, you know, but I tell you, every time I go into someone's kitchen, I open up the cupboards and they got some sort of non-stick pan in there, there's always a little nick in there. And then the next time they pour oil in there and the oil burns inside the pores and it covers that black and they don't think it's chipped anymore, don't kid yourself. The chip's still there, right? So we just give this a little stir, maybe with the spoon a couple times. You got a soup going on in here. And let's just kind of pour that out and see the difference of what that looks like. Okay? So it's kind of a combination of that aluminum with little black specks in there. Isn't that interesting? Okay? And then we have the cast iron pan. Now, some people say that, you know, a cast iron pan makes your food taste like iron. Have you ever heard that before? Well, my question to you is, why would it taste like iron? Could it be that maybe iron is going into your food every time? Now, is it a therapeutic iron? Is it the type of iron that if you're anemic, the doctor says, chew on a rusty nail or cook on a cast iron pan? I don't think so, right? You've got a ferrous metal and you've got a ferritic metal. And this ferritic here is an iron ore. It's a raw ore. You don't chew on metal or dirt to get your minerals, right? So we want to get our minerals from plants or animals that have eaten a plant, okay? But, you know, the cast iron, it's got to be seasoned, otherwise it's going to be rust. But what is seasoning? It means pouring oil into it. Oil goes in and oil releases, and then it reheats, it oxidizes, it goes rancid. Sometimes you get food in there, and then, you know, you got to scrub it clean, otherwise the flavor oozes out. You cook fish in there one day, and you wipe it down, and then all of a sudden the next day you cook chicken, and it tastes like fishy chicken or something, right? And so it oozes out of the pores, very, very porous. But check this one out here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So we kind of go, wait a second. Every time I'm eating, now if I turned on my water and that came out of my tap, I might go, I don't know if I would drink that water. Maybe I'll get filtered water. Okay? So the quality of the cooking surface, ladies and gentlemen, makes a huge difference. Now, even if I took a paper towel and I wipe that down, you're going to see something very interesting here. And what you're going to see, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact, if I go on the surgical stainless steel, what I'm going to find, what goes in comes out the same. And I take the aluminum pan here. Wow, look at that. Imagine when you're stirring inside that pan. I take the non-stick here. And this one has ridges on it, so it makes it look harder that it's and look at that. My goodness, every day you eat, doesn't it make sense to cook on a type of cookware that's going to preserve the nutrition and prevent unnecessary metals or chemicals going into your food? That's an obvious yes, isn't it? And so, you know, if I drop some food on the floor and I wipe the floor clean, you go, okay, great. Maybe the paper towel's got a little bit of dust on it. But if I go to wash your cast iron pan, heaven's sakes, don't wash that pan. But what happens if I just wipe it with a paper towel? Isn't that crazy? So when we think about it, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't it make sense to cook on something clean, safe, and delicious? You're going to learn more about that at your live cooking show experience. It's going to be fun. When you see it and you appreciate it, you can share it with your friends. We'll reward you with some really cool stuff. Maybe have an iPad ready to go, okay, and you and your spouse sit down. It's kind of like watching a movie, okay, but it is a learning, and we like to make it fun. Thank you in advance for keeping your cooking show date. Couple things to remember: have a carrot baking soda, a couple of your favorite pans, and maybe one of those little knuckle buster graters, and we will have some fun with you. Thanks again for keeping your appointment. We'll see you happy. We'll see you healthy. Bon appetit.